So the question was, how would you handle conflict between you and a team of teachers?
When I was newer in this position, I did not handle it well. I would get defensive, I would snap back, things like that. Now, what I'll do is, I listen to them, try to make sure that I understand what their concerns are, and then explain where I'm coming from and why, we either can't, do something, or that what can we do to fix this? There's been times that they brought something to my attention that I didn't realize was an issue, realize it is, all right, so let's move on, let's fix this. I'm not perfect. I'm not going to claim to be. There's plenty of flaws in me, and so if there's one that's inhibiting us from being better, then let's figure out what we can do to change the way we're doing things to get better.
Okay. How do you recruit your staff?
We don't. The biggest way we recruit is at TW. We have on one of the boards up there, we have something that says something about how we are hiring, but for the most part, that's what we do. I believe at this point we have over 700 applicants for the different positions that we have. It doesn't mean that we have 700 people we're interested in, right, but there's that many that has applied. And like I said, it's an extensive process to screen to see who we even want to have a face-to-face interview with.
How would you encourage staff development?
One of the things I'm working on right now, we're looking at doing the Texas Rising Star, and in doing so we did a self-assessment, and I have gone through and looked at what everyone marked in areas that they were not the highest, and did a color coding system for me so that I can see how many people marked this, how many people marked that, and then the things that are orange we're going to do training on. The things that are yellow, all right, depending on time we may do training on. Maybe I just need to pull some people out and talk to them about parts of it. Things that are green or the color chart that I created, we got that. So I don't need to waste time on doing that training. And so it was a really good way for me to be able to look and explore what do the teaching team feel like they need to be trained on, rather than what do I think they need to be trained on. And most of the time it's going to probably be the same, but maybe it's not.
That's good. How do you evaluate the staff?
We have the district provides us with an evaluation tool. We created one. They had one. I didn't like theirs, so they basically took ours and incorporated it with theirs, and so now we use theirs. And we try to do it once a semester. We're not real successful at that, but we do try to do it at least once a semester. Typically, we'll do it at least at the end of the year, the academic year, and evaluate where everybody is. It is not tied to wages. It is not tied to things like that. I honestly don't know what it is tied to. What I will say is that if it came that I needed to terminate someone, that would be evidence in the proof of why I should if they're getting poor marks. But for the most part, we don't come across that. These are things that you're doing well. Here's some things I think you could work on, and I'd like to see you work on those to improve.
What do you believe constitutes quality childcare?
Developmentally appropriate practice. I mean, to me, it boils down to that. One of the big things we talk about in our interview is we ask the staff or the potential staff the question, what is the most important thing, or what is your primary responsibility with working with young children? The answer we're looking for is safety. If we don't get that, we will not hire them. It's a make it or break it deal. The rationale behind that is that Maslow's hierarchy of needs. If their basic needs are not being taken care of, there's no way they can learn. So we need to make sure that their basic needs are being met. From that, we can work on the relationships, the love, the caring, where are they developmentally, emotionally speaking, what can we do to support them growing and effectively getting to the next developmental plateau.
know that you have the minimum standards, but do you have any standards that you set?
Not that are in writing is the very best way to say it. I mean, we have the handbook and we have some stuff that it's in that. We do trainings at the beginning of the year. We have extensive trainings that we do, and so that I can share with the team, this is what my expectations are. Basically, it is in the handbook. We've gone over it through those trainings, and if they're not doing what I need them to do, then we have a conversation about it. First conversation is, hey, this is what we'd like to do. Then if that doesn't happen, then it will be a more serious, I'm going to write you up so that you understand this is what I'm needing to happen. So then it is in writing that this is what needs to happen. We've already talked about it once. We did training on it. So now this is the point where we're at. It rarely gets to that point. The biggest thing that we get to at that point on is tardiness, absence, those kinds of things. People not doing their job. Basically, Carol and I are in the classrooms enough that when something seems to go a little off, then we can redirect them while in the classroom, and it doesn't go that far.
That's good. If you could change your building in any way, what would you change?
Classrooms larger. By the ratios that we run, we could actually have more children, but we don't have the square footage for the more children. Just that would be the big thing that I would look at. I would like to have a larger front area. I mean, right now it's set up so that Carol and I are the only administrative people that can be in this building. There's not another spot for another administrator, and so like to have a receptionist or anything like that. There's just not the space for it. Not that we have the money for it, but maybe at one point we could, and that would be nice to have somebody else that can answer the phones like I had to a second ago, or take on some of those other responsibilities to free Carol and I up again to be more in the classroom.
Right. What would you say is the biggest challenge as a director, other than the things you listed earlier?
For me, it is meeting the standards that I put on myself. That to me is my hardest. I am my hardest critic, and I have goals that I would like to meet, and when I don't meet them, I'm frustrated and disappointed in myself. I look at it not that it's that we have failed me. I look at it more of I have failed us, and so that's really hard, to look at it from that perspective. That in some regard I feel helps me be sharp. In other regards, it's a poor way to look at things because I'm always feeling like I'm the one letting us down. And so this year, one of the big things I'm trying to do is let go of some of that, and I'm doing a lot more delegation so that I'm not holding on to it. I'm letting somebody else do it. Maybe it doesn't go exactly the way I would have designed it, but it's still going. It's still going to get done, and it's still going to be acceptable. Okay, then let it go.
That'll probably be my same issue.
Yep.
What motivates you to do the best? And you said you had all the weight. What motivates you to keep pushing past?
Desire to be better. I mean, that's really what it is. In work, I want to be better, for the children that I work with. I want to be better for the team I work with. I want to be better for my supervisor. That's where I am. At home, I want to be better for my wife. I want to be better for my children. And so that's what always motivates me to try to be better, is that look at who I'm being better for. And that's where my motivation is.
Where do you see yourself in this center in the next 10 years?
I don't know. I would love for us to be opening another program in Denton ISD at that point. We're relatively small. We have 6 classrooms, can hold about 75 kids. For a district as large as we are, that's small. The other problem is that we are central to the center of Denton. We're not close to very many schools. So that would be the next thing is, okay, well, people that are on the 380 corridor that, on the other side of Crossroads, that's still Denton. People that are basically in Argyle, that's still Denton.
Mm-hmm.
So we cover a huge square mile range. And so it takes a while for people to get here from their school, that some people choose not to come here